Namaskar. Ved Pranamantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Today we will be discussing Abhay Sukta. It comes in Atharva Ved, book number 19 and hymn number 15. As you can guess, this is about how to be free from fears. This freedom from fear. Now, fear is something that we all have known since our childhood, and practically there is no one in the universe who is not afraid of something or other. Brahma, the creator God, may not be afraid, probably not. But we have this description in the Upanishads where it says when God wanted to create, and then he appeared, and then he kind of felt scared because of being alone. And then fear comes where there is two. That means till you have this sense of duality in whatever form, that means even if you accept two entities, you and God, the element of fear will always be there, as we can see in Abrahamic religions. And that's why Christianity has gone so far as telling that there is this original sin. Basically, it's fear. Or you might have heard the famous expression, fear God. So wherever there is duality, there will be fear. Any kind of duality. And the only way to get out of fear is to be established in non-duality. And that's why Swami Vivekananda, those of you might have read his lectures carefully, would say that, might have noted, Swamiji says, the Upanishads boldly keep on saying, be fearless, be fearless, be fearless. If there is one message from the Upanishads, it's fearlessness. He repeatedly says that because other than the Upanishads, you simply cannot have a complete sense of freedom from fear. Because wherever there is two, even if there is God, there will be this element of fear. That's it. As far as we are concerned, we who are in this world, we are facing objects, we are facing situation, we are facing persons. We have the load of gods, millions of them. So whether it be real or imagined, that's fear. It creates that state of mind. That means our mind goes in that state when we feel that our individuality will get lost in the individuality of the other or the power of other. So, for a devotee who is devoted to, say, God, and somewhere there is element of fear in his worship, then you feel that your individuality, whatever that might be, and there will be some description of it as we proceed, you feel that your individuality will be lost. Your individuality. So, what is fear? Fear is that state of mind. It may be real, it may be imagined, it may be induced, whatever it be. You feel as if your individuality will get lost. One beautiful example that we have from the life of Swami Vivekananda is when he was Narendranath Datta, young student, and he had met Sri Ramakrishna and came to meet Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. And Sri Ramakrishna wanted to verify whether or not he's the same person whom he brought from the Saptarshi Mandal, from the seven sages. And biography of both of them describe how Sri Ramakrishna touched him. And suddenly, Narendranath Datta felt as if the whole universe is whirling and swirling and moving towards a vacuum, and he's being sucked into it. It's a spiritual vision where you're moving towards losing your individuality. And he kind of shouted, cried out, "What are you doing? I am mother, I have father." Now, what is very interesting about this episode, this spiritual vision, is that on the one hand, he was losing his sense of individuality, and on the other, he had retained certain kind of individuality which prompted him to tell that he has a family, he has a house, he has his own. Exactly this is what happens when we are scared. And as I said, fear, whether that be real or imagined, the effect is always the same. In fact, if we have imaginary fears, then trembling will be much more. Trembling both outside and inside. Those of you might have read my book Tia Parrot's Journey Home. There is one section on the big bird. It's a beautiful chapter, and it presents fear emotion within us in a very humorous way. In fact, Tia is a very humorous book, although book is very, very, very serious, but it presents all our emotions, etc., in situation in a very humorous way. In fact, that is a very good way of presenting things. When you present things in a humorous way, people don't feel the bite. And it's always a very, very good medium of presenting things. So there, in that book, it says that fear is such a wonderful emotion. It freezes you, and it also makes you fly. Sometimes when we are too scared, we get rooted to the spot. And again, there are situations when we want to run. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. So, whether you are a baby, child, growing up, young man, whatever, fear will always be there. And as far as we people are concerned, we have three very powerful fear factors. Very powerful, apart from the loss of individuality. But, or you can say that this individuality, as far as fear is concerned, comes in three different forms. First one is the fear of loss of respect. When you feel that you are going to lose face, when you feel that you are going to lose respect, sometimes, we make some mistake and we don't want to admit it to our loved ones because we don't want to lose that love. Sometimes between a couple, husband and wife, someone does something wrong. And even if the news comes out or there is a whisper, the other one tries to cover it because there's a feeling that I lose face. Losing face means losing self-respect or losing the respect that is there in the mind of others for us. That's why we don't want to fail. We don't want to fail in exams. We don't want to fail in competitions because we feel that there will be a loss of respect. It's a very serious thing. And kids are extremely scared of it, extremely scared of it. And then there is that fear of insecurity. It's directly related to individuality. Like young ones, when they are in the school and by chance they might make some mistake, maybe they may not be performing well academically, and if they are called by the headmaster or the principal, they get extremely scared. There was one study which said that kids are most scared of their parents getting separated. And the second worst fear is being called by the headmaster. It's very interesting. And then third is if there is some kind of vulnerability, you have made some mistake and you feel that you have become vulnerable. You might have heard terms like blackmail, etc. It's all about vulnerability. You become vulnerable. So these are two or three major issues that plague us. And sometimes we have critics, sometimes we have enemies, sometimes we have haters. And we have also known cases of, and most of us might have faced at some point of time, some good friend turning against us. Because, see, when you shoot somebody from point blank range, the damage is maximum. When we are hit by our own, damage is maximum. That's why Julius Caesar had cried out, "Et tu, Brutus." Sometimes, we can face the attacks by others, but we cannot bear the attack by our own. So, I mean, it's such a complicated thing. Human mind is so complex that we really don't know how to react when our own attack us. Summing up, you will realize that all these things are related to one thing: fear of loss of individuality, where individuality is the term individuality is being used in a larger sense. And then you have three different kinds of fear, which is, of course, related to pain. The first one is from people and objects. Second one is from within, health issues, mental health issues, etc. You're so scared that if you lose your health, or you may have some serious disease, etc., you're scared of it. And the third fear comes from Mother Nature. Of course, we don't believe in nature as being some sensate being. It's the gods with small g, who are ruling over the forces of nature, and they may harm us in some way. For example, floods, earthquake, etc. And what is very funny about fear is it can be badly misplaced and it can also be contagious. Sometimes, what happens when there is a crowd and someone gets scared because of something, and the whole crowd gets scared. And misplaced in the sense that is imaginary, that we have a beautiful description. Those of you might have read the first series, Asterix and the Obelix. So there's a small village in Gaul, that is present de France, where these people are not scared of anything excepting for the sky falling on their head. That's a beautiful way of telling that they are fearless. Now, our sages, they realize this problem because fear is elemental. And fear is actually very, very important for our survival. If we are not fearful, we might enter truly big dangers. Uh, Fear is a signal that be careful. A bigger danger is there. However, we are not discussing danger here, we are discussing the element of fear. So, what they did was they gave us some very wonderful prayers, truly wonderful prayers to get rid of the sense of fear. This comes in Atharva, as I mentioned, 19th book and hymn number 15. It is addressed to Indra. Indra, as you remember, he is you can say, the relatable face of God. We have mentioned many times in the previous talks that It's easy to talk about formless God, but you cannot pray to a formless God. God has to have form. If you want to relate to that God, if you want to pray to that God, and if you want to meditate on that God, even if you are discussing only about God's qualities, actually you're giving some kind of form. When you're using some name, say for example, we have this God of the Jews. The God is named Jehovah. Those of you who have read the book The World of Religions would know that it's strange spelling. JHWH. It cannot be pronounced. And actually it means one who cannot be named. And yet, with time, it was converted into Jehovah. So we cannot have a God who doesn't have a name, who doesn't have qualities, and consequently who doesn't have face. So there are some popular religions nowadays who talk about uh, having God having no face, etc., etc., and terming we Hindus as idolaters, etc. But I mean, what can you tell these upstarts? You simply can't say anything. When you are in the assembly of fools, it's folly to be wise. You have to keep quiet. There is no other option. Yat Indra bhayamahe tato no abhayam kridhi Maghavan Shakti Tavatvam na Uti Bhirvi Dviso Vi Mridho Jahi. These are all ancient Sanskrit. Its meaning is beautiful. Free us, Indra, from the fear of all that we are afraid of. So it's a general prayer. All that we are afraid of. May you, Magavan. Magavan is one name of Indra, bountiful, who gives you riches. With your saving power, Indra is very powerful. With your saving power, turn away the hater and the enemy. It's Dvisho Vi Mridho Jahi. Dvisho Vi Mridho Jahi. He who is a hater. Now, hater may not be your enemy in the sense that haters sometimes keep their anger towards you confined to thoughts and maybe words. But enemies, they can harm you physically. They can harm you financially, bodily, etc., etc. So we have two kinds of dangerous people around us: haters and enemies. I'm sure most of you have these people. And in fact, some of these popular astrologers, what they do is they capitalize on our fears and they'll say that, well, there's a hidden enemy amongst your own. Hidden enemy. Somebody you know, that kind of thing. That's how they prey upon our vulnerabilities. Because only those people go to astrologers who are in some kind of problem and they need a face to their problems. I'm not talking about the great ones. We are talking about ordinary astrologers. Now, it says that we dvisha, we mridha, chahi. Real problem from people come to us from people who hate us. When we think of Brutus, somewhere he hated the guts of Julius Caesar. Probably. Definitely he was not an enemy, but he was a he must have been a hater. Otherwise, why he would kill? Why he would stab? Because stabbing a person is a very difficult thing. You have to have too much of hate to stab somebody. Killing is a very difficult thing, Normally we don't realize that, but killing is actually a very difficult thing. And as we mentioned that, why this prayer? Because there is no real danger as such. Because the anticipation of fear is much more dangerous than fear itself. Because when the real situation comes where we have to face it, like imagine the army. The army, when it's fighting a battle, it knows any minute person may be killed. He may get killed. But he's not scared. Why? Well, he has to face it. But just to prepare him for that moment, it requires years of rigorous training. It's only through years of rigorous training that he can face the bullets of the enemies. Indram vayam anuradham habamahe anuradhyasma dvipada chatuspada ma na sena ar rushi rupa guha vishuchi rindra druho vi nashaya. We invoke Indra. That means we are praying to Indra, the bounteous giver, one who gives us in plentiful. May we be prosperous with progeny and cattle, dvipada and chatuspada, two-legged, four-legged, two-legged in the sense of having children, grandchildren, etc. Four-legged, having cattle. Because in earlier times, cattle, cows, etc., they were the real wealth. In fact, till the other day, if you go to villages, even today, the worth of a person is measured by the number of acres that one has and the number of cattle one has. And let no army of evil ever come near us. Forget about one or two or three enemy. Whole army may never come near us. Make the hostile disperse and disappear. Hostile. Just now we mentioned haters and his enemies. All the enemies that I may have, O Indra, you are so powerful and you have been so kind to us that make them disperse, make them disappear. Let no army of evil. These are the evil ones. In fact, we are also evil ones for others, because it's a very interesting thing. Life and people are so interesting that we are scared of people and others are scared of us. In this particular case, the sage is equating individuality with wealth and our own friends and family. If you have a large number of friends, dependable friends, I mean, and enough wealth, you feel secure. You feel as if your individuality is secured. So this second mantra of this hymn is about having enough wealth and a large number of your own. Army of evil, the term that we have used for detractors and evil forces. It can be all kinds. It can be also the anger of the gods. Indra trata ut vritraha parasfano varenya sa rakshita charamta sa madhyata sa paschat sa purastat no astu. Adorable Indra. Indra is being praised. Here, that's the custom. Whenever a prayer is offered to a particular god, they are generally praised with qualities that they have. And one of the very popular qualities is adorable. Trata, Indra Trata, Savior, our Savior. Indra Trata Uta Vritraha Paraswan Varenya. Varenya is adorable. Gayatri Mantra also we have this expression Varenya. And he is the Savior. So you find the element of Gayatri mantra here in the form of Varinya is adorable, worthy of worship. It is also savior. Unless God is personal, and remember, whatever the other religions may say, the moment you talk about God the Savior, it becomes automatically a personal God instead of impersonal. And if there is a personal God, it has to have a name, it has to have qualities, and it has to have a face. Now, we don't mean to criticize any religion, but the moment you try to go deeper into the theologies, you'll find that there are gaps. Sarakshita charamtaha may this layer of Vritra protector from others. Vritra in Puranas is described as a demon. Very famous Asura. They're very powerful. In fact, Indra had great difficulty subduing him. But in the Vedas, Vritra has another meaning, and that's the forces that withhold waters. That means cloud is there, but the rains are not coming. Indra Indra slays that demon. And slowly he got a personality and became a demon, a very powerful demon, etc. etc. May he be our ultimate protector, that is Indra. And what kind of protection we need? Well, from the front, from behind, and from the middle. Now there is an expression left, right, and center. So it says sa madhyatah, sa paschat, sa purastat no asti. This kind of prayer where you want protection from the front, protection from the back, and protection from the middle. This was later elaborated in books like Durga Saptashati, that is Devi Mahatmya and Chandi. And we have prayers where Raksha Kavach, where you have this kind of prayer where you say that, may Shakti protect me from this direction, from that direction, in this way, in that way. May this form of Shakti be on my head, etc. etc. Protect my head, protect my shoulders, etc. However, the main thing that's to be discussed here, that is to be noted, is the protection has to be from all directions, front, back, middle, from everywhere. Urum no lokamanu neshi vidwan swa jyoti abhayam swasti. Ugrat Indra Savirasya Bahu Ubakshayama Sharana Brihanta. Now, again, this is a very beautiful mantra as far as philosophy is concerned. Urum no lokam anu neshi vidwan. Lead us to the free world, wise one. Indra is being addressed here as the wise one. He's the face of God. And so, he's nearest to the pure consciousness. And hence, he has to be wise. Oh, wise one, lead us to the free world. No. There have been so many ideas of utopia, and it has been going on from the time of Plato, and there must have been many more thinkers who thought of a state which would be free of this and free of that, etc., etc. But that's not possible. In our own times, we have these socialist states, the states that try to practice socialist, and ultimately they prove to be miserable failures. Lead us to the free world. Free world. Where lie the divine lustre. It's a very important idea. When you think of a free world, There can never be freedom in materialism. Wherever there is element of wealth, wherever there is element of power, do not expect a free world. Be that a capitalist state, a socialist state, a despotic government, or a democratic government. No, you cannot. Freedom lies only in being divine, only in divinity. It says divine luster, light, and above all, fearlessness. There's a very interesting book by Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged. It's a novel, and you people may not be much interested in this kind of novel. In fact, her more famous book is The Fountainhead. Atlas Shrugged is based on objectivism of Aristotle. It's a novel, but essentially it discusses particular philosophy, objectivism. Now, in Atlas Shrugged, the author imagines a state where people will be free. And so top people of their country, they're approached by those, and it's a long story where they are being led to that state of freedom. But when you are trying to give an idea, it can really be grand. Put it into practice. And then you realize that it doesn't work. The silliest thing that I can think of in philosophy is objectivism. Reason being, human mind is much more powerful. It overpowers everything. It simply overpowers everything. You may think of free trade, you may think of free state, you may think of free flow of ideas. You don't have free flow of ideas. There was this great philosopher and thinker, Bertrand Russell, and he talked about the good things that science has done and the bad things that science has done, etc., etc. And then he said that science has taken to a state where if a powerful state, if a despotic state wants to control our lives, it can control very easily simply by, say, cutting off electricity, water supply, etc. And then George Orwell, he wrote a wonderful book called 1984. He had written it in 1948 and he just twisted that number, 1984. There, the story is about state which is controlling its individuals. And there is even thought police. That means if you are thinking something wrong, thought police will inform the state. When the internet came, one of the chief arguments in favor of internet was that the thinkers who were talking of the state controlling us, that included, say, Bertrand Russell in 1984, it has been proved wrong because internet is free flow information. And today we know that whenever there is any kind of disturbance anywhere, the first thing that the government does is it shuts down the internet. So you can talk about free trade, free this, free that. Ultimately, it's all big fish eat the small fish. No, information cannot have a free flow. The moment you enter the world of materialism, the world of matter, there can be no more freedom and there can never be freedom from fear. So it says that divine luster, light, and fearlessness. If you really want a free state, state of freedom, true freedom, I don't know if it can be acquired for everybody, but you can acquire it for yourself by being spiritual. If you become spiritual, you become fearless. Once you become fearless, you are in the state where the world is free for you. You're in a free world. Valiant are your huge arms, O Indra. May we get refuge in those. Sri Ramakrishna used to say beautifully that a child, whenever scared or has any emotions, they run to their mom. They feel that they are secure there. Babies of kangaroos, whenever they are in, whenever they get scared, they jump into the pouch of their mother's belly. They feel safe. Just like that, if you have love for God and you feel God is protecting you, you are under the protection of God, you feel secure. That's the kind of prayer. So two distinct things are here. One is the state of free world, which is characterized by fearlessness. And number two is fearlessness lies in becoming divine. Divine in whatever way you feel, including taking shelter under God. Because God, as we understand, we Hindus, there's a state where there is no fear. Like in Kathopanishad and many other Upanishads, we have that state. In Kathopanishad, Nachiketa talks about na tatra tvam na jaraya bhiveti. There is no fear of you, no fear of old age, etc. That's the state of that's the state of God, being one with God. Abhayam na karati antariksham, abhayam deva prithvi ubhe me, abhayam paschat, abhayam purastat, uttarat, adharat, abhayam no astu. The idea is being repeated that may the space, here is about space, may the space free us from all fear. Antariksham. The word used here is antariksham. May the abhayam na karati antariksham, abhayam deva prithvi uve ime. So when you have antariksha is actually generally the general term for space. May the space free us from all fear because we are all trapped in this space. And these heaven and earth make us secure. May there no fear for us from back and no fear from front, no, nor from below. We shouldn't have any kind of fear, either from back, front, or below. Earlier it was middle, now it's below. It's like Purastat, Uttarat, Adharat, north, south, east, west. We must be protected from all directions. And then there is this last mantra, which is actually a favorite of mine, and I'll request you to memorize it because it's a very powerful mantra. It's such a powerful mantra that I used it in my novel Kratu. Those of you might have read Kratu. Kratu dies accidentally, and so he reaches the world of the spirits, and they're terrifying. But his memory is intact because of a curse. And there he's so scared that he recites this mantra. And a mantra is very simple, very, very easy to pronounce, easy to recite, easy to memorize. Abhayam Mitrat. Abhayam or Mitrat. I am breaking it so that you can recite it easily and very easy to memorize. Abhayam Mitrat. Abhayam Amitrat. Abhayam Gyatat. Abhayam Puro Yah. Abhayam Naktam. Abhayam Divana. Sarva Asha Mam Mitram Bhavantu. The idea is seen, presented in different words. May there be no fear from friend. Abhayam Mitrat. Who is your friend? Friend is with whom you feel that sense of oneness. You pour your heart out. You share your secrets, hoping and expecting that you will be protected from your vulnerabilities. But people are not that strong. I mean, they may be good, but they're not strong enough. And those who are not strong enough, they will spill your secrets. Like when we were young, we had, when we were young, we had our own small secrets, not something very serious. And we would share it. And sometimes the secret would be out because your friend in whom you had implicit trust, he tells it to others. As we grow, we become a little more selective about our friends. But the problem of getting let down by friends is more or less universal. More or less universal. If you look back at your life, you'll find that you have been let down by some of your friends. And maybe you went again to that person. I mean, we have that sense of helplessness because we need crutches in life, crutches in the form of emotional support. And for that, we have to share our secrets. And then we are let down. And then, as we mentioned in the beginning, Julius Caesar, he was stabbed by his own nephew, Brutus, et tu, Brutus. And Abhayam Amitrat, those who are not friendly with us, they of course pose danger. And when we are in that region, when we are in that area where we know that I don't have friends, sometimes we become very careful. We are extra careful. But that again takes away your strength and vigor. When you know that you are not amongst your friends, it takes away vigor. When you are with your friends, there's a possibility of a backstab. That's why this prayer, Abhayam Mitrat, Abhayam Amitrat. Say, very wonderful prayer. Abhayam Gyatat, Abhayam Puro Yaha. There be no fear from the known and no fear from the unknown. Puro means that which is in front, and it means that which is distant. That means that which is not known. So we know of certain problems that can come to us. Like people are extremely scared of, say, cancer. I've known persons, they don't even utter the word cancer for the fear that they might catch it. They'll say, C word. Initially, I knew of one gentleman, rather, I know of him. He would never utter the word cancer, he would say C word. So it was difficult for me to understand what is the C word. Or then I realized, oh, acha, it's cancer. So there are certain problems which we know may assail us, and we are also scared of the unknown. For example, when we were kids, while walking through darkness, we felt as if ghosts may pounce upon us. And Abhayam Naktam, may there be no fear for us from night nor day. Abhayam Naktam, Abhayam Diva. Naktam means night, Diva means day. Because sometimes we are scared at daytime, sometimes we are scared at night. Time itself may become our friend, protector. So there are three things involved here. First is people, that is minds. Second one is time, Divanaktam. And last is Sarva Asha Mama Mitram Bhavantu, space. So three cardinal elements of existence: mind, time, space. These three have been brought together, and the prayer is there that May we have no fear from minds of our own, and also as of enemies, from time, that is day and night, that covers everything. And asha means directions, all the directions, front, back, above, below, everything, north, south, east, west. Sarva asha mam mitram bhavantu. Here, mitra means one who takes care. Mitram in the first line, that is abhyam mitrat, that's slightly different. Is in the sense of persons with whom we are staying. And the second one is propitious, sense of being protector. So, may there be no fear from friend, no fear from foe, no fear from the known, no fear from the unknown. Everything is being covered. May there be no fear for us from night nor day. May all the directions be our friend. So, this is verse number 6 of this hymn. This last is a beautiful one. And if you can memorize it, which is, not difficult. And if you are one of those types who get scared very easily, just keep on repeating as much as you can. And slowly you will realize that the element of fear is moving away, because fear stays in your mind. Prayer also stays in your mind. Negativity has to be overpowered by positivity. When it comes to positivity, you can never have anything better than the Vedic mantras. So that's Abhay Suktam. And next one, which we will take in our next talk. It's about jnana. It's a beautiful thing. Knowledge, the meaning of knowledge, and how one succeeds in life through knowledge. Thank you so much. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.